Good afternoon and welcome back to HPH, Brent and Julie. Today we're going to talk about showmanship, how to prepare for it, how to plan for it, things you want to look for, things you want to do, and then we're going to run through a simple walk trot pattern, which is walk only. Today we have three grateful assistants that are helping me. The lady in pink is Mary, and Mary is just learning the showmanship. She's practicing really hard the last couple months, and this is her first public appearance doing this. Then the young lady in the middle with the ponytail is Rosalind, and she has her sister's horse that she's going to do this with. She'll do her own horse, I think, in the advanced one where it's a true walk trot pattern. And then we have Lisa and her horse. They've been showing together for almost 3 years, part of 3 years, 2.5 years. And I will brag on her a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the last 2 years you've been the High Point Walk Trot Western Showmanship in the country. And last year you were both High Point Western and English and High Point Amateur overall for the Pintos. So she's got a little bit more experience than the other two. So the point is all different ranges. About what I'm about to show you and discuss is good for all levels. You don't have to be really good at this or a lot of experience. It's good for the beginners as well as experienced showmen. So as you're all going to figure out going forward, if you continue to tune in and watch these things, I love my cones, which are buckets. Quick story, I get to buy those. I've got a recycler that recycles food grade buckets and barrels, and these are $2 a piece, and if they get broke or lost or something, they're not expensive to replace, and they're easier for me to carry with the handles. So just if people want to know, people make fun of my buckets, and I wanted to explain that. So as we talked in the last video, the video about pleasure and horsemanship and preparing, two things. The very first thing, understand how many maneuvers you have to do. In showmanship, you can walk, trot, stop, back, and turn, or some form thereof. So you're going to figure out, you're going to think I was a geometry nut in high school because I used triangles for a lot, triangles and squares. But this little deal, I always try to think of ways to plan, make you think where I'm going and how I'm going to get there, and how to incorporate the maneuvers. So, excuse me. I set this up and have used a little bit myself. Rosalind, I'm going to start with you. Come. And this being a walk only. Yeah. Are you doing walk only? No, walk trots later on when we get done with these. Come and stand right here. A couple of the maneuvers, let me back up a little bit. One of my goals for anybody and everybody is to be prepared for the unusual or something that you don't normally see. There's no secret, especially with the clients. Julie and I go back and forth. She practices the patterns because we get them a month ahead, and we do a lot of prep work for the horse shows before we get there. I don't like practicing patterns over and over. I want to practice the different maneuvers and be prepared for anything that's presented. I come from when I was started showing more than a few years ago. They handed the pattern to you as you walked in, or the judge told you what the pattern was, and you had to go do it. We didn't have an hour, a day, a week, or a month to prepare for them. And I think that was a lot more challenging and really separated everybody out when you had to just go do it. Now everybody is at a much more level playing field, and it makes it more difficult to judge. Two of the things that our people, and I see a lot of other exhibitors struggle with, is everything is done to the left. When you have to make a right turn, whether it's a walk or trot, and you can't see where you're going, that starts to present problems. You get lost. So when I set this up, I'm just going to let you walk through this a little bit, Rosalind. What I want you to do is just make designs. You're going to walk around this one, then turn and make a figure eight out of that one, and you're going to do right turns and left turns, okay? So that's it. She walked off with confidence. She's getting slow and bored. You play as you practice. Every pro sports coach will tell you that, college, high school, little league, you play as you practice. So if you just go through the motions with no excitement and passion, you're going to get to the horse show, and if you do try to step it up, you get nervous. So.
And key to doing these circles is that
there you go.
Lengthen or shorten your strides depending on if you're on the outside or the inside. You
want okay, one more set.
The same
and then when you come there, I want you to walk straight up to the cone. Okay, go ahead and do one more set.
So
there you go.
That you basically stay right up in that horse.
You can come straight right out of that.
And don't get ahead or behind them.
Good. Okay, now back what you just walked. All right, stop. First, when I just told her that, and I swear to God, these are unrehearsed. These people have no idea what I'm about to ask them to do. We want to give you an opportunity to see real time, real life. So they're not prepared. When I just told her to back the same figure eights that she just walked, her eyes got about this big and she kind of took a big deep breath. And this is what I'm talking about. If Julie and I would have been doing our jobs prior today, or, as well as we possibly can, and what this is doing is making me work harder and smarter and try to plan better to give you better ways of preparing. If we were doing our job, anything I would throw at her should not be a problem. She should have looked at me with confidence. I can do that. Now she's a little bit worried. Granted, you don't have to do that by getting patterns ahead of time. You can just practice what you have to do that. But that's not making you a better showman. When you can do all of the maneuvers that can be asked, is prepares you to be better, prepared to do whatever it is that can be done. Some of the open shows, you'll have a runoff or a championship class that you get a pattern 20 minutes before, and it could be including anything. And then you rush out, how do I back a U, or how do I back whatever, or how do I weave through cones, or how do I do this or that? You're not prepared. You always want to be prepared. I said the last time, I'll say it the next time, I'll say it today, I'll say it every time. Power is knowledge and preparation is power. And if you're prepared to do anything, you're way ahead of your competition. I guarantee it. So, okay, Rosalind, back the figure eight and end up where you're at. So by giving her somewhat vague instructions, she's got to think and plan.
Now, key to backing when you're doing this is you need to understand you cannot get in what's called the safety zone. That is a line, if you were to draw it straight in front of both of their front feet, your body should not be within that parallel.
Your left shoulder cannot be past their left thigh.
Because that is a deduction when you're talking
it's a major
about showmanship scoring. And we'll go through that in a whole nother session.
Just back straight to that cone over there and set up. Okay, now I'm going to ask for some insight to the judge. How did you do? How was that?
Could have been smoother.
Yep. And by smoother, less stop and go. Okay, less hesitations between. Were you pleased with the size of it? Wrong. Okay. You would have wanted to have the circles, just like riding, horsemanship, whatever. They've all got to be the same size. They want to be symmetrical, okay? That one got a little wide. This one got way wide. Look how far out there you were away from the cone, okay? So my point is plan, but the more you practice, the better you will get, okay? And you even if you do have the pattern a day or a week ahead of time, you want to practice. You don't want to practice to learn. You want to practice to be better. Okay, does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? You need to be doing it every time you practice showmanship, so it becomes routine if it shows up. Understand, ladies? Agree? Okay. How about you guys? Questions? It's most of this I think is simple. I try to make it logical, and easy to understand. So I'll let each of you walk through. I may not do the back because we've got so much time. We've got a lot to get in today. But I want you, both of the other two of you, to walk these and kind of get a feel for that right turn, left turn. Okay? Go away, child. You're going to start right here, Mary, right here in the middle, facing this cone.
Okay, now a little
stop
bit of
and
history.
set up.
Watch Mary do this. Mary has started her showmanship journey with Roxy here about 5 weeks ago, and I've been giving her little tests every week. We work, and she's been working really hard at getting Roxy prepared for this, but they're both very green.
Walk a figure eight wherever, that's fine. That is just a tiny bit tighter than I would like for you to do. Open it up a little bit. Don't get quite so close to the cones. These are spaced 12 feet apart. Uh, so you can just be in the middle of them. Go to the middle, same distance between them. There you go. And then when you turn left, come back to the middle, like you're walking straight to this cone. Look where you're going. There you go, like that.
And if you notice, as Mary's going through there, she's been working really hard at getting Roxy to just kind of move with her, and so she doesn't have to pull a
Good
lot
girl.
on her chain to make her follow her. And if you watch this, I know you can't get up real close,
Now
but
walk with a little bit more
the
purpose. Go.
mare is really paying attention
There.
to where Mary's going and not being drugged through there like a dairy cow.
When you make that turn to the right, you want to lengthen your stride. When you make a turn to the left, you want to shorten your stride so she stays in the same position. Okay? You see how much better her presentation is when she picks her pace up a little bit? Okay, go around the next cone and come straight and set up right in front of this cone.
As you go through this showmanship journey, and we'll have multiple videos on this for you before this whole thing is over and done with.
Very good. You looked where you're going. You've got a plan.
There's a limit of how prepared your horse has to be. Some of our horses have to be fresh.
Excellent.
If not, they're like,
good job.
Won't do anything.
You feel good?
Yes.
Okay. 2 questions. What did you like about it?
For her and I, it's getting to know each other, and it gives me more confidence
Okay.
on the ground.
And what would you like to improve on?
For her to listen to me more.
Okay. Let's talk about just what you just did. Okay, those are things that you need. What did you like about your pattern?
Well, I love any pattern.
Okay, here's what I want you to say. This is what you're trying to say. From where you started a month ago to where she was able to stay with you, you didn't have to pull on her. You were working together as a team. Okay. What you want to improve upon, what I'd like to see you improve upon, is your spacing and understand exactly where you're going and how you're going to get there. Okay. Your body language was telling me you hope you get through it and didn't make a mistake. Okay, well, I understand that. You're going to be nervous when you show your horse. Again, knowledge is power. Knowledge is
It's your saying.
power
You're on
is
your own, bud.
knowledge. It's but for the first time doing this, you got to be very happy. You did really good. Yeah. Okay, go away. Trainers and coaches, I want to really. I had a lady that helped me years ago explain this to me. If you noticed when I asked the questions, there was nothing I hope negative in it. I didn't ask her what she didn't like. The first question was, what did you like? I didn't ask what you did wrong. I asked, what would you want to improve upon? It's the same question. It's just how you word it. And I am not a good communicator. I am not a good coach. I learned this, and the results are like way beyond anything you'll ever expect, because the people start feeling good about themselves. We're not telling them how bad they are. We're asking how good they were. And then they start to focus on that, and then it becomes routine, just like breathing. You'll hear me say that 100 times.
I don't think I finished my little discussion with regards to, this.
Okay.
You do this to prepare and warm up. Each individual horse and leader handler combination needs to be aware of what it takes to get their horse ready for showmanship. Some horses require a half hour of lunging before they're ready to take a big deep breath and be ready to do this. Some horses you need to show a little bit fresh. So you've
Make
got an
them
edge
a
on
little
them.
bit more snowmen, not
Individual,
quite so much teardrops.
combination for each pair. Okay, back to you, Brent.
Because Lisa is not new at this, you didn't hear what I told her. One of the things that as a judge was one of my pet peeves, figure eights are not teardrops. You don't go diagonally through them. There's snowmen. There's flat edge in the middle. If you watch what she's doing, Rosalind was good. I let Mary slide because this was her first time at this. But look how she goes straight 1, 2, and then make the turn. And that makes the circles a lot more symmetrical, gives her a chance to walk with the confidence, and purpose that she's doing. Okay, go around this one, that one over there, and come and set up in front of the cone.
You know, if I'm going to falter as you're watching this from her showmanship stance, she needs to pull her left shoulder back.
Good. Very good. Very good. Okay. So that is just one little quick warm-up exercise. I've got 2 or 3 others that we do during lessons and stuff, but hopefully this gives you an idea and something very simple that you can work on for 5 or 10 minutes, and it gets you and your horse more in time, more alert, more as a team, to where you can make a better presentation and get from 5th to 3rd, 3rd to 1st. So.
And while he sets up the pattern, the other thing we're going to caution you on, and you're going to hear this a lot. Did I say a lot? It appears that everybody likes to set up, when you watch people preparing for their patterns in the makeup pen, all you see is people turning 360s, turning 450s. Limit the amount of time that you work on.
Everybody know what the pattern is?
Up their hocks.
Huh? No?
Okay, Brent, I said that I don't know how to turn your mic down, so move it down some, okay? Away from your mouth. Open up your jacket, move it down. I'll figure out how to turn it down, but it's really loud. People can better? Turn on their phone volume also, that'll help. Yeah. Okay.
We'll try that.
Thank you, everybody. We're just working through the little kinks of being able to do these live clinics. Brett,
I'm a little embarrassed. I hate it when judges do not set the pattern up correct. I didn't look at the pattern close enough. I'm guilty.
You need another cone. And you need that cone to go that way some more. Yeah, go set up the cones for him. He's got it. But you know what you discussed with me.
What do I need to do?
Oh, wait. No, you were correct. You didn't need another cone. I was looking at the horsemanship pattern. So that's the judge.
Okay, well, it can stay. Yeah, I'll go away. No. Same order of go.
Okay, now Brent, go over the pattern and tell them what would be the highlights of where they're going to pick their spots at.
All right, the pattern, again, this is walk trot. In our world, walk trot means walk only for showmanship.
Which means I've got a typo on the pattern and it should say walk to the judge, not trot to the judge.
Correct. It is walk all the way through.
So that takes me to, as you are reading these patterns, if you have questions or there appears to be a problem on the pattern, do not hesitate to go ask show management, which is correct.
Okay, so sometimes the most simple patterns can be the most difficult. You get over prepared to do the simple things, and then you get into a routine, or you forget, or something doesn't work out. So never underestimate a simple pattern. Don't overestimate a difficult pattern. Okay. Again, if you're prepared, you can do anything with the same amount of confidence. All right. So in the pattern, you're going to walk straight at from A to B. At B, you're going to hesitate.
Yes?
Nope. It says stop.
It says stop, which is a hesitate, right?
Nope. If it was a hesitate, it would say hesitate only. I don't want to get into discussion, but stop means stop
And yes, we do have these kind of discussions when we're at a horse show and both
on
of
a
us are
regular
reading patterns.
basis. So you're going to stop, 1, 2, and go. You got to demonstrate a complete stop. It's not a hesitation. You don't go, stop, and go. You stop. You don't set your horse up. You don't look at your horse. You don't, nothing like that. All right. You stop and go. Okay. The difference is if it is a hesitation, it's just that you really stop. You demonstrate that you've slowed down. It's like when you're driving, you don't drive yet, but it's a rolling stop. I do those all the time. I always say I'll stop twice the next time, but this says stop. Walk to the judge, set up for inspection. After inspection, 270, and walk to the cone. No matter whether it says trot or not, you walk to the cone, stop at the cone, and you are dismissed. Stop, acknowledge, take a look, glance at the judge. You can nod your head, but acknowledge that the pattern's complete and go away.
And key to this is, as you're reading this pattern, the judge should be set up far enough down, a horse's length, so that you stop with your butt at that cone. Because when you read that pattern, they're turning a 270 and walking directly to the cone. So your lines need to stay straight. So your stop, assuming the judge is at the right place, should be with your butt to that cone to be prepared for the next maneuver.
To help you with that, when you out of the
You get the
corner of
ring
your
out
eye,
in the
you
arena.
should see that cone. And typically, this is where you've got to know your horse, but typically count 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, and stop. That should line you perfectly up with your horse's back legs to do a pivot and walk straight to the cone. The importance of that is not to offend any judges, but Julie's saying judges are stupid. She knows she sleeps with one. If the judge is stupid and I'm way back here, okay, you're not going to walk all the way up here and show to me. You're going to stop back there where you can do the pattern as prescribed. Okay. And I think Julie just went over it. Written instructions takes precedence over the drawing. All right. So where it says, even though these are wrong, you're to walk. Okay. We've clarified that. So I'm going to come back here and be a smart judge. Come right on, honey.
Now, the reason that Rosalind started on the correct side was because she started directly in front of the judge. There was no reason for her to be on the off side of her horse.
Good.
We'll go over this moving back and forth in the 4/4 logic in another pattern where it's basic showmanship.
Thank you. Make sure you complete the maneuver. Too many people don't finish their 270. They leave a step or two, 90, 180, whatever.
Okay, now
Good
Brent,
girl.
you and I had a discussion as it relates to how do they exit? It doesn't say how to exit. So what's your logic on how do they exit? They're
You
the first
never
exhibitor
want to go in this situation. She's never puts herself between the next exhibitor and the judge. She could have went either way. But if she would have turned left and walked down that side, she can be a distraction to me. If the horse jumped at the door, done something, she could disrupt the class for the next exhibitor. She did it exactly how I would, if we were to show and this was the pattern and this was the instructions, I would have her as my client walk off like she did. Turn to the right and walk behind me and way far out of the playing field. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, Mary.
And where it says stop, there's no reason for them to turn and face back to
Perfect.
their horse or do anything because there's no set associated with it.
Okay, couple questions to help. Did you count 3 steps past the cone? Okay, then you wanted to do 4. Okay, it's okay. This is where you've got to know your step and your horse's step, because right now she is behind the cone. Okay, so this is the importance of practicing and understanding, not picking on you because you didn't know first time you've done this. Okay, you'll know the next time I've got to add a step. If it's typically 3, I've got to add 4. You don't take big steps. She doesn't take big steps. So you need one more to put you in the right position. No, there's not a judge in the world counting, okay, they got to go 3 steps past the cone to do that. They need to stop where their horse's butt, hind legs, can do the pivot and go straight to the next marker. All right. So it's trial and error is my point. All right. This is the importance of practice, practice, practice. Cool. Don't be afraid to say whoa and kind of pull down on her when you go to make your crossover. Perfect. Very, very good. Very good. Okay. Go away. She lifts that shoulder up, turns. Why this is new to her and her horse. She's trying to work at keeping that pivot foot quiet.
We have only gotten to 180s in our classes, so this is new to Mary.
Good. You stopped, hesitated. You could have looked up in front to acknowledge to me. It's all right. Don't. It's okay. Experience is the best teacher. You only learn on the bad days. You never learn doing everything perfectly right.
Pinch your shoulders, Lisa.
I'm not sure what that was. He was like wanting to leave you. You did a very nice correction. He was out thinking you. He was thinking for himself. No, he was going to turn. He was going to do a circle. I don't know what all of you can see on the camera, but Flash is very proud of his male body parts and tries to show them off every time he can. I promise you, he has no drugs in him. Guaranteed, you can test him anytime. This is just him. All right. It bothered all of us when we started. Okay. Okay. She said he just got clean, so now he's really showing off. But my point is, it's not desirable, but don't go to overcorrecting them on it. Okay. They will get shy. They'll get gun shy. They're afraid you're going to whip them every time you make a move. They're going to startle. They'll have some sort of reaction. It is part of nature. There's nothing you can do about it. So we just deal with it. It's an unfortunate part of it, but if you do everything else better, you do all the mechanics and show your horse the best of your ability and its ability, that can be overlooked. Okay. Don't think that is, I'm disqualified because he's proud of his equipment. You ready? How did you end up over here to start?
Because you already walked
moved
around once.
Oh, I did? Wow. Something to be said
Pray
for
for me,
age,
everybody.
right?
I live with this.
Okay. Go away.
Now, what I'm going to fault, and last time we worked with Lisa, is if you can see this at all, he's leading with his head, not his shoulder. We're going to work this year on getting him so that his spine stays totally straight.
Good girl.
And he doesn't lead
Good
off
girl.
with that head and then have his shoulder follow.
Because we're not interactive with the people watching, I'm going to depend on all of you sitting up there. Some parents, some spouses, some trainers and coaches, some exhibitors. Does all this make sense? Is there anything that I've not covered that you want to ask or know? Damn, Brent, you're good. Come, you're showing your horse.
Rosalind,
Come.
kick your shoulders back and drop them just a little. You're looking like
There.
a football player.
Good. She's got lots of eye contact, a lot of confidence. Take that. Get to the point, 1, 2, 3, and you're done. Every time, if you want to be ultra competitive in showmanship, every time you do something with your horse, practice setting up. Okay? If you get them out and put them in the cross ties, stand them up. If the blacksmith is coming, stand them up. If you're washing them, stand them up. If you're practicing showmanship, stand them up. The other thing I will tell you, if you watch people, and maybe some of you make those mistakes, you can stay right where you're at. I haven't went around you yet, right? Like I did her. Too many people go back and forth trying to get that last quarter inch, half inch, and that horse will move its leg 10 times before you get it. All right. You're teaching, if you do that on a regular basis, you're teaching your horse how to do that in a bad habit. Okay. 1, 2, 3, set up. When you're starting out, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. But get down to the point that you get as close as you can in 3. The next time you do it, you try to get it closer in 3. The time you do it should be really close to perfect in 3. Okay. But as a judge, you've got a 12, 14, 16, 18-hour day in front of you. Okay. And to sit here and watch somebody go back and forth for a half inch, drives me nuts and wears me out. I've got a long day. I don't have time to waste for you to make a half-inch difference, setting your horse up. 1, 2, 3, set it up, take what you got. Now, if it's all spread out after 3, you've obviously got to take some, another 1 or 2 attempts at getting it better. But still, at that time, it becomes a learning situation for you and your horse, because you're not going to beat anybody anyway. You've taken too much time to get it, and most likely somebody else is going to do it. 1, 2, somebody's going to get lucky and stop with them all perfect. Okay. So take the time, but it becomes a teaching, learning opportunity rather than trying to win. For those of you who did not hear or see the first session, you can ask any of these girls, call any of the clients. It is never about the horse show today. You're always practicing for the next show, the next show, the next show. Okay. I tell them, and I'm sure most trainers will, a judge's opinion and your placings mean nothing. Okay. Their whole job is to make me happy. If you make me happy or Julie happy, you're going to do well. We've done this a really long time. And if you do it to suit us, you're going to impress a lot of judges, and you're going to. Very good.
Okay, I'm going to fault Rosalind as you walk around there. I'd like to see her left hand just a little lower. It's way too high. Put your left hand down, Rosalind. There you go.
She walked too far. So when she did her 270, she walked too far past the cone. So when she did her 270, she was off to the right of the cone. That in my mind, in my score sheet, -1, -1, -1. She's got 3 penalty points. Maneuver scores, she's going to probably have another 2 or 3. She didn't have enough pluses to make up for the penalties, so she's in the hole. She's at a 65, 66, 67. Know your score sheets and how you're scored. If they're not in the rule book, go to penno.com or .org, apha.com. Any of them will. You can print off the score sheets and figure out how you're being scored, what you're being scored on. Good. 1, 2, 3. You're close. Maybe not perfect, but you did exactly what I would have wanted to see you do.
And what Mary has been working on the last 4 weeks is walking her horse in the arena, and every time she stops,
You're in a much better
that mare
position than
squares
your
up.
last
And
one
so
to
the
make
mare is
your
getting figured up, and
270
she's
and walk to
figured
the
out if
cone.
she
So let's see
stops,
how
she
that
has
works
to
out
square
for you.
up.
Go right ahead. Thank you. Lock that shoulder up. Take a small step forward. Go ahead and finish. And look, you're right straight to the cone. Perfect. Good girl. Lisa?
Okay, if you you can get your next set of horses ready. Yep. Are you going to do him in the adult one too? Okay. Are you going to do him in walk trot, where you really trot your pattern? Okay.
I changed on her because I wanted to demonstrate the difference of which way the judge goes first, how you end up.
Oh no.
If you noticed, we're gonna go to the next group, honey.
she's gonna, are you using him for the next group? Okay, well, then just wait because
Uh,
do some warm up too.
I wanted to demonstrate that how the judges go is how you end up. And this is a lot easier, I think, than having to stop over there and cross back over. That presents what I would term an awkward moment. And we don't, but they'll go one way half the time, the other way half the time. You got to be prepared either way. Oh, I started to make a step this way. She did exactly what she should have done. She waited till I committed. She did not move with me. Because then I stopped and went behind her, and that's when she moved. You want to be in time with the judge, but you want to be correct. You don't want to anticipate what the judge does. For those of you that do the open shows and 4-H shows, and I haven't been to one in a number of years, but those typically have young judges or inexperienced judges that will try to trick you. The breed shows, very few judges try to trick you. They try to judge on your presentation and performance, not who makes the least mistakes. If a judge, and I'm walking like this, you should have jumped. I want to show bad. Okay. No, stay right here. I know. My fault. My fault. Okay. I'm walking around this way. She anticipates that and I haven't crossed over, and I just stop and look at her. Yeah, she's out of position. That's a 5-point penalty. Okay. She was ahead. She was anticipating. Judges should not do that. At the breed shows, you won't have that happen. At the smaller open show, well, there is no such thing as a small open show anymore, but at open shows and you will run into judges to trick you. So you've got to be patient and make that judge commit to what they're doing next.
And
Okay.
what you'll notice is 90% of the time, the ringmaster will always, or your judge or whoever you're showing to, will always go the same direction. So you're really only messed up if you are very first to go.
Good girl. Okay. I
Now
hope everybody learned something out of this. It is very basic. We understand that, but we have to start there and work our way up. So enough for the walk trotters and walk onlys. We are going to give the next group a couple minutes. I'm going to reset the triangle and have them do a little bit of warm up, and then we'll have them do their pattern. Okay, ladies, you ready?
Okay, why don't you make introductions of your two new people in this class?
Okay. Walk, trot, showmanship. Two new participants, and we have Rosalind back. She's the little overachiever today. She wants to do both. The lady in red is Joni, and she has a new horse, Eli. She's had him 3 or 4 months and getting to know him. He has experience at showmanship, so this should be a good match. She just has to figure out how to operate the correct buttons, but he knows his job. So, and then we have Tanya. She also has a new horse that we've only had a couple months. Kind of the same story, not to quite the extent, but he's got a lot of experience being shown and is very good at the showmanship as well. So Tanya has shown walk trot with her old horse. She may, for the first part, till we get a few shows under our belt, continue to do walk trot, but she's going to step up and do the walk trot canter, most likely after the World Show. All that being said, and I don't want to embarrass myself, but Tanya 2 years ago won the showmanship at the Color Breed Congress in 21, and that was when it was the World Show combined. No, that was 20. Yeah. So she's had an impressive show record walk trot with a previous horse, so we are kind of looking forward to what she can do this year. So I'm going to stand this way this time and let you guys start over here, okay? However you want to do it, you're going to walk a figure 8, trot 2 figure 8s, okay? We don't provide oxygen. You can't pass out on us. I know you'd rather walk 2 and trot 1, right? Doesn't work that way. I want you, however you end up, you need to end up in front of this cone, set your horse up, okay? And then I will tell you to back when, I'm not going to do the inspection. We'll do that during the pattern, okay? No inspection, set your horse up. I'll tell you when to back. Got it, ladies? Walk 1, trot 2, okay? And you get to go first. She went first last time, so she gets to go last.
Cal.
Yeah, come here. Okay, I'm going to be a little harder on these girls as they're doing this. I'm not going to wait and ask them what they liked and what they want to improve upon. She is way too slow, and she knows that. She is not walking with a purpose. She is being tentative because she's got a new horse. She's only practiced, 8 or 10 times, and she's playing it safe. And you can't win by playing safe. There's the snowman. She's straight through her transitions and change of direction. Longer steps turning to the left, shorter steps during the right, so he can keep up. Don't ask your horse to change. You change to match your horse. Make this wide and then come straight to the bucket. Never mind. You're all right. You got to end up straight facing the bucket. Great correction. With the cost of everything going up, so you can pay extra to run that much.
She's trying to breathe. I think there's one in one of those wool carts that are in his old bridal room.
Here, great question. If your horse is a great backer, show off and back to your shoulders are there. If he gets a little wavy, not quite as snappy and impressive as some others may be, this is when you do want to play it safe and put yourself in a position to do better. So you're going to shorten it up and only back to your hips there. And you can make that adjustment as you're doing the maneuver, okay? Knowing this is new to him and you together, I would probably play it safe and go with your hip at the cones, do your 180 and walk away. Okay? But that's your decision.
When you watch your horse back, do not look at their back feet. Look at their hips. If their hips is going crooked, their feet's going crooked. But do not look down at the ground. Look up over the top of your horse.
And pick a point that you're backing to. The same as you're riding forward, you've got to have a point. And I'm guessing, but she was backing at the far end is the break in the middle where the two gates meet. She was backing to that or slightly to the left of it. Okay, the cone and that is not exactly in a straight line, but it got her where she was going. I'm going to tell on Joni. Joni had a lesson with us the other night. Some of you may have seen it, some of you may have not. We were experimenting with our video and microphones. And she started, kind of like just wandering around rather than knowing where she was going. And I didn't say it at the time, but I've thought about it for 2 days. And Joni's got one of the toughest jobs in the world. She is a school bus driver with little kids. And I want to tell her that when she drives the school bus, she has a route and a plan. She knows every 100 yards where she's going to go and how she's going to get there, where she's going to turn, where she's going to stop, where she's got to back up, what her final destination is. The same thing goes for doing patterns with your horse. You've got to have a plan. You got to know where you're going, how you're going to get there, and what you're going to do in the from the start to finish. And so while she's doing this, that gives her something more to think about. He's wanting to be a little lazy. I want to be critical on her. She's getting too close to the cones and not having the same, not every circle is the same size. I'm death on that. They've got to be the equal all the way around. Now, stop. If that would have been your setup at the show, I would have taken it from this point of view. When you moved him, now you're in worse position than when you stopped. And that's the risk you got to run. Okay. So you can fix that now. You can pull that left or right hind up if you want, or okay. 1, 2, 3, and he's right. I still would have held, as a judge, I would have held it against you that you didn't take what you had to begin with. Always take time to see where you're at before you make a move. And that was a judgment call. Knowing this horse a little bit, he is really good at setting up. I can't say she did the wrong thing, because he normally will change like that, one move, and he's perfect, okay? So, but this time it didn't work out for her the way it should. Back, go away. She ended up to the left just a tiny bit more than what maybe I would have liked to have seen her, but that certainly was an above average presentation other than her setup and her circles. So most likely she wouldn't be the winner with that pattern, but she's not last either. Oh, wait a minute. If you're not first, you're last, right?
Drop your left hand, Rosalind.
Lift your right hand. There. Walk another one and make them a little bit more like this. That last one, you kind of just went off diagonally. Yeah, and now go straight towards the gate, just like you did in the other one. No, down there. Finish that circle. 1, 2, now go to the left. Are you going to walk around this one? There, like that. And then pick up your trot whenever you want.
Okay, brag on Rosalind a little. I will say that she's being a good little sister. This is her oldest sister's horse, and her oldest sister lives in Detroit, 4 hours away. And Rosalind is working at keeping this horse prepared for her sister so that her sister can just come here and ride on the weekends and be ready to show.
Now you can come up here, honey. Back, please. Sorry, ladies, she just kicked your butts for fun.
Oh no, she didn't. Or she's off pattern.
She back.
She didn't turn a 180.
Oh,
She turned a
180.
90.
She only did 90.
She's now got a big 0. And yes, that's when the clients come out of the arena and are mad at themselves because they screwed up the pattern.
Or they come out and didn't know that they did anything wrong and are just like beaming from ear to ear with pride. And what about the back you forgot? Or like that one, what about the 180 you forgot? So, okay, ladies, you got it in one more time. You can walk a figure 8, walk.
Undo one walk and one trot.
One trot, yeah. That's what I was getting at. You don't have trot twice.
From the standpoint of today's patterns, I will give it a fact that they're asking the ladies that are not 30 any longer to trot a lot. And I'm going to say that, my sister works at trotting so that she's got her stamina built up to do it, because they ask for a lot of trots sometime in some of these patterns. So be prepared. Better walk, Tanya. And you'll notice as they come around, I keep yelling at Rosalind to put her left hand down. Your hands should be positioned as if you were carrying a nice sized cookie tray and not spilling the cookies. So, if your hands get too low, that cookie tray is going to spill and all the cookies are going to be on the floor.
Okay, now I will ask, what did you like about your pattern? And what would you like to improve upon? Yeah, yeah. From the first time to this time, it was as different as night and day. Okay, you did better. You had more presentation, more confidence, more going with a purpose. Okay, your circles were not even comparison to the others. Okay, they were very symmetrical. This one got a little big over here. All right, you got a little wide through the whole thing, but you did an above average, not a great job of keeping it the same distance all the way around. You were wide on that end, you stayed wide on this side. Okay. I'm not real sure the trot stop. If you want, you apparently did not want to trot when he took those 2 or 3 steps. You made him walk again and start over. Okay. That is schooling your horse. That is as important as practicing. You've got to correct the mistakes, and horses, you want to do it when they make them. If you wait till the pattern's over, the practice is over, whatever it is, if you wait and delay the punishment, they don't understand what they're being punished for. So she did exactly. She wasn't abusive to him. She wasn't quick. She didn't overschooling. She just said, no, we don't do it that way. You're going to wait. Went right on, and he understood and said, okay, yes, ma'am, I'll do it your way. There was no confrontation. There was no fear factor. There was no anything disruptive. And he understood that. When you over criticize, overcorrect your horse, you're setting yourself up for more problems. I will tell you this, and a lot of this goes with life lessons. Getting along with people is really simple. Getting along in life is very simple. You treat people how you want to be treated. It is absolutely the golden rule, works absolutely every time. Horses are just like people. You treat your horse exactly how you want to be treated. If I go and poke her all the time, she'll tolerate it for a little while. She's quit smiling. She wants to hit me so damn bad, And then if I go to smacking on her, about the 4th or 5th time, she reacts, I don't want hit no more. I'm backing away. Horses do the same thing. Okay. So my point is, treat your horse like you want to be treated, and you'll get along so much better. It works. I promise it works. Back up and go away. All of you ladies have been practicing the back because you guys are backing better than. We don't have much work to do on that before our first horse show. Okay, look at Joni this time. I commented on Tanya walking with more confidence. Joni is here showing her horse. Whoops. And why that's a penalty, a break, that's a 1-point penalty in her presentation. I don't, at this point in time, I don't want to over criticize her as a coach and trainer. That horse is staying with her. He is trying as hard as she is. And I'm going to actually, while I want to correct him, I want to praise him for it because he is doing his job the same as she's doing hers.
I didn't go deep enough.
Nope. Good. What did you like?
Rated a little better. Came around a little better. Didn't like the off step, the trot step.
Didn't ask that yet. What do you want to improve upon?
I'm still working on my stamina, which stress that. And him just being us a team.
Yeah. And
Figure it out.
it takes time.
Yeah.
You know, but just like her, from what you had the first time to the second time is as different as night and day. Much better. You get your name called with that one. Are you the winner yet? Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Depends on who, what everybody else does. So back up and go away.
Nothing tentative about it, nothing hesitant. She went and he did his job. He said, yes, ma'am, I will back and I will back right now. It was straight, precise, and very, very good. That was a plus to you. Absolutely. Okay, one more time. Awesome, got a game now. I'd like her to smile a little bit more, enjoy this, but she is in the tent. I'm asking myself as a the same question. And I felt that it was with you, your face, your presentation, your circles. There's not much that I didn't find in your product that would improve upon. Having said that, the thing to improve on is
You've done this for 45 minutes.
he was still a little pressed. If I would have changed
And
anything,
hours ago and made you lunge him for a half hour, 45 minutes, take all that air out of him where he is a little bit more relaxed. He is still a little bit more on edge. That is just knowing your horse and reading the horse, and the I guess the next point, and I don't want to, as I've said, I want to keep things simple, but showing is not complicated, but it can be complex. There's a lot of variable parts that go into it, and you've got to be aware of all the parts. Um, uh, that wasn't a world show pattern, no more than what it is, but it was pretty doggone good. All right. But it lacked something. And I think that is where I would start from my experience. I would tell her to go lunge this thing for another half hour, 45 minutes, and get that freshness out of him. And that would make that presentation, it would have made that pattern that extra plus 1 or 2 points more. So, okay. Good? Time, we okay?
Well, yeah, now you're ready to do the real pattern and go over the pattern and the points on the pattern.
Okay.
You need to set them further apart because they have to trot to the cone. So don't make them in the center of the pen. Now, if you're looking at this pattern, the real difficult element of this pattern is going to be, everybody's going to ask, where do I stop and turn the 360? At cone 2. So a lot of that is going to be determined by how far away your judge or the person you're showing to is from those cones. If they're close to that cone, you don't want to be in line with them, Brent. You want to be over a ways. Nope, this side. Okay, so if he's hugging those cones closely, in order for you not to interfere with that second cone, you have to stop fairly early to spin that circle and not have the cone interrupt with your turn. If they're farther away from it, then you're showing to the judge, so you could get maybe your shoulder to the cone. You would never, in this particular, the way it's set up, even if you're first to go, you're never going to want to do your butt at the cone, because that leaves you no area to trot to the judge. And just as in the other pattern, you have to stop with your hips in line with the third cone, because when you turn your 270, you're going to trot right to it. So those are the key identifying things that come along with this pattern with where you're going to pick your point. And from a coach's standpoint, we may readjust it. No matter how we've practiced it, we may readjust it once we get to the class and see how they've actually set it up. So be prepared for changes.
Ooh. He doesn't have much stamina either, does he? He's already tired of this bullshit. Whoops, my mic's on. Good. No faster than that. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, question, boss. What do we do if we have a big long horse like this, and we know that that judge is too far for us to swing correct? What do we do?
You stop
You're
it.
going to stop with your nose at the cone. Okay, not his shoulder, his nose. You're going to stop before the cone. So you're on that side of the cone when you do that. Okay? Everybody understand? Yeah. It's, yeah. So I was kind to her and I moved. I think I came back to the same steps that I did with the previous. You'll see today, most judges will have a marker, whether it's the ring steward or judge, the person acting as a judge will have a marker here that they come back to the same place. Okay, so everything's the same for each exhibitor. She lined up because she understands and knows her horse. He is long, and he takes a big step, a long step. And she could be in trouble if she showed to me, if I wasn't kind to her and move over so she was in line, she could potentially be in trouble being over here 3 more feet. All right. And she's in trouble if I'm here and she's there. She's in trouble no matter what she does, because her very first step is going to have to be at an angle to get lined up to me. To me, the straight line is to the rake hanging on the wall. This is a straight line at an angle. Okay? No, stay there. I'll move for you this time. The next time, we're going to do this pattern twice. The next time, I won't move. Okay? I'm going to have a marker. I've got a little piece of paper right here. Okay? All right. Show me what you got. Right hand up a little bit more. Left hand down a little bit. Try to make them a little bit more even. Whoa, ugly.
I know, I'm too far. So I'm giving you.
Okay, so she's standing here, she's giving me a lot to talk about. Yes, she is. Okay. She is still dwelling on the turn and where, when she stopped and to do the turn, he was ahead of her. She was still dwelling on the past, not dwelling on the future. Okay, the judge is standing up there. I got to trot to him. No, she doesn't. She's got to stop with her hip, even with the cone. My point is, you can't think about what just happened. You've got to do the rest of the pattern correctly. Okay, when you lose focus, you make mistakes. And there's an analogy I just saw a few weeks ago that makes sense. The reason the windshield is so big is so you've got a full view ahead of you. The rear view, you never look in the rear view, so it can be real small. All right. She was still looking in the rear view mirror where she had been, rather than where she's going. Go ahead. See how you fix this. You're right. There is no way to fix it. Okay. She had beat herself way back there. It's just like the other example a few minutes ago. Now it becomes a learning opportunity because she ain't going to beat it. All right. Now the plus out of it that she needs to take is Tanya's horse is a little less reactive, and he had trouble trotting up to that cone. That horse, one step, with being longer and less distance, he trotted 3 or 4 steps and nailed it. Okay, so he did some things right. All right, you want to dwell on what's right, improve what's not right. Okay, Rosalind, stop.
Aren't you supposed to move onto your little spot?
Yep. And I am not moving. You go start over, okay? Joni moved over a little bit, okay? Rosalind moved over a little bit more. By watching where the one before her went, she moved over a little bit more. I'm still way over here, okay? Here's my little mark.
You only get one chance to make a great first impression. And you are going to stand at that very first cone and you're going to tell the judge, I am the one to beat, or you're going to stand there and you're going to say, we're going to kind of hope this goes well.
Now, I hope to prove a point here. You three sitting there in those chairs are the judges. I am the ring steward. From your point of view, can you tell me, is she directly in line with me or not? No, you can't tell, or no, she is not. And is she to my right or my left? Correct. Okay. So the point is, judges have done this. You can depth perception sometimes enter into it, but not all the time. They can see what I see as the judge. So she's back to what we talked about before. No, I did this at a clinic. Judges, think of judges as having a barometer, all right? And as Julie just mentioned, first impression. All right, she's not exactly straight. I'll give her a little bit because I was over here when she come to set up. I'm not going to kill her quite yet, but my barometer's down here. She's got a lot to prove to me to move my barometer up to where I think she is a great exhibitor. So she's not behind, she's not at a 68 or 9. If 70 is the average score, she's not below that, but there is no way in God's green earth she's above it. Okay, does that make sense? Trying to give you insight to how judges think. Wow, she's here to show her horse. Now she has an opportunity right now to fix this line. Very subtle correction. Look where she ended up. Very imperceptible. If you aren't looking for it, I'm not one to put words in your mouth, but you have a difficult time seeing when she fixed it. Did she fix it in her turn? Did she fix it in her approach to me? A little bit here and a little bit there, and it was all very subtle. And my barometer has moved up. Is she the best one in the class? Maybe not yet. Okay, there's 2 or 3 maneuvers she's got to really nail, but this girl's smart. She fixed her problem and is trying to save this very well. So I can't crucify her yet. Okay, go ahead. Finish. Yep. No, I'll go around. That's not fair.
Now, that was kind of an unfortunate circumstance.
That's a 5-point penalty moving a foot. Go ahead.
He thought she was going to turn, and so he went to move that front foot to turn, and that goes along with your rhythm that you have for your horse.
Well, I wanted to give her credit on fixing the angle, much like Joni. She came too far. She went past the hip of the cone. So when she made her 270, she was out of position again. So she's in trouble. The 5-point penalty killed her to begin with. So she is at a 62 or 3 at Yeah, that was a minus. Started off with a 0, -1. She owed me some. Turn was okay. She fixed that. She still is 70, maybe a 71. 5 points, she's 66. Poor maneuver, -1, -2. She's at a 64 or 5.
Okay, just FYI, that trot off was way too late. So for you that are watching it, she would have gotten some serious deductions on that.
Thank you.
And she
I
opened
won't
up to the
ask you
wrong
what
side
you
of the
liked, and I
cone,
won't ask you
so
what
we
you
would
want to
have ended up
improve
with
upon.
off pattern in that particular case.
Ma'am? Thank you. Good. I will ask, what did you like?
Better.
And what do you want to improve upon?
Get back here.
Julie makes fun of me because I like to count things. So I have to get my timing when I am trotting past my mark to know how many steps I trot to stop my horse's butt. I've got to get him walking a little bit forward headed. But I get that down.
Are we done?
She would be the last one, yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because you were yeah. I thought you were first. That was the time before.
Now, if you could watch this, and she overturned a little, and that's why she kind of wavered and brought herself back. She needed to be a little more aware of where she needed to stop.
Say whoa before you go, not after you get there. Okay? Tell him ahead of time, be proactive rather than reactive. Okay? Okay?
Oh, very good trot off.
Good.
Okay. We're going to
What did
take
you
a little
like?
bit of an intermission here. I've got a new web stream for the
And
horsemanship.
what do you want to improve upon?
Brent, anything you want to say in closing before we shut this stream down and start the next one?
Rosalind, come here and set your horse up. Like you're going to show to me. You're showing your horse. I did a clinic last week for trainer and some clients and guests up in Michigan, and the question came up, and I'm going to give you my feelings, and I believe in my thoughts and based on experience a lot. The question came up about your feet placement and how you present your horse. I am old school, and how I learned is that your feet face their feet, okay? And you, if I am 12 o'clock, you need to be at 10 and 2. So you would be a little bit more like this, turn just a little bit more, okay? And crossover. No, there, okay? I feel that is still acceptable. Go back and do it like you do it. The trend is to be more at 9 and 3 and perpendicular with your horse, not your toes necessarily at them. You don't want to see, the new way is not seeing the angle. Your body is parallel to the horse.
Brent said, do it however you please. But I'm saying either one is still acceptable. Okay? Unfortunately, I feel showmanship is a gray area. I'm not going to criticize or penalize an exhibitor for doing it one way or the other over one way or the other.
Okay, neither way in my book, and I feel most judges, neither way is wrong, neither way is right. It is a personal style. And I'll leave it at that. But that was a question that come up. There was 6 or 8 people participating and another 8 or 10 auditing sitting there, and they all asked the same question. When the question was asked, they all agreed. They wanted to know. So I thought I ought to clarify that because Rosalind does a little bit more of a new style 9 and 3 than 10 and 2. And the other girls do it the way we've taught them. So, okay, thank you. So which way are you going to do it? Like Brent wants, or like you're doing it? So, other than that, again, the same as the warm up. I hope you've learned something. I hope I've given you some ideas, some things to work on, a little better perspective of what judges are looking for and how you're scored.
We are going to have some additional sessions specifically with scoring. We're going to break down
Right.
patterns and go over judges' analysis. We're going to take scores that they get scored at the horse show. I'm going to do a seminar with basic showmanship, all the things that we had done with Mary and she's been working on, so that if you're starting with a green horse and you yourself are green, you're going to have some idea of where do I start and how do I get there.
And along that, don't wait for those. We would love to have some feedback. We're just starting this process. We're very committed to doing this to help the industry and help people get better. People that don't have access or use a trainer and coach, I'm hoping that you get something out of this. We look for feedback. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Tell us what we can improve upon. Tell us what you would like to see as other topics going forward. Our goal is to be able to do 1 or 2 a week throughout the summer and at least through fall, and probably start again in the spring. So uh, you know how to get a hold of Julie. She shares stuff with me via Facebook. Through these, let us know what you think and what you would like to see.
Okay, I will start the next stream in about 10 minutes, everybody. So just enough time for us to get our horses in here. So thanks for watching. Bye.
What do you think?